Hi, I'm Pati and welcome back to A Small Geeky Chica Figures. Today we're doing entry number 23 out of our Nendoroid Collection series with number 705, Bakugo Katsuki Hero Edition from the hit show My Hero Academia. So you've already seen me open Deku, and then it took me a really long time, but eventually I did get my hands on this Bakugo Nendoroid, which is in the same style as that Deku one. It's the Hero Edition. I know I got this kind of on a re-release. I did not get it the first time through. I remember that. But it is showing up pretty early in my collection, just given because we're going by the numbers. But let's take a look at this guy who hasn't been out of his box very often, maybe once or twice. So it's almost like seeing a brand new Nendoroid. I do have a couple of Nendoroid photography photos with him, but not a lot. Just like Deku, I only have very few, but hopefully I'll be able to use him some more in the future. Anyway, so as you can see, he comes with his mask faceplates forms, and then his little canyons for his attacks. So this is very much like an action pose Nendoroid, similar to Deku. We're gonna see I believe he probably has the joints and stuff. He has the sound effects and the battle effects, and then he has one face that isn't with his mask. He's kind of a little bit of a more grumpy face versus his more excited, ready to battle kind of faces. And then he has a lot where, like I said, he's being a hero. He's out taking out the villains and doing a lot of dynamic posing. So let's get this guy out of his box and check him out. And now let's get Bakugo out of his box. So before we get the blister out, let's look over his little booklet, which you've seen a ton by this point. If you've watched any of my other Nendoroid Collection videos, little booklet that tells you all the parts that he comes with, plus any special things that might be different about his Nendoroid compared to other ones, any extra parts that need a little bit more instruction of how to put on. So we have his main body right here, his 3 faceplates, quite a few hands. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 hands, and I believe these are also hands but with explosions coming out. We have an explosion sound effect, the boom sound effect, and it looks like this is another hair piece, so we can change his bangs a little bit. It would seem to be that one. And we have a couple of little extra hair pieces that I guess go in. We'll see how they go and how they work soon. Plus, his stand and all the little parts that go with it. Here is telling you how to change it out. Oh, so basically it's to put in hair or to put in his little little black pieces right there that stick out that are part of his costume. And then this one is showing this for the back of the head, so you can either have the big explosion part in the back, or you can just have regular Katsuki hair there if you don't want him in his full uniform costume. And then we have a couple of things that teach you how to use the sound effect and how to rearrange some of the parts for his grenade canyons. And then you can also use some of these parts with Deku, and so I guess this little extra hand that's in a white glove is a Deku part, so you can use them together. Anyway, hopefully you saw all of that, and now we're gonna get him out of his blister. Okay, so here is Bakugo, and you can see these are the parts we were mentioning before. You can take this out carefully, and then you can put this one here, and then now he's only halfway in his uniform. Let's see, is this the right one or is it this one? I think I have the right one the first time. So these are kind of a little more tricky to put on than I thought. You just gotta get them in the right spot. Maybe we take out his bangs first, or maybe we look through the booklet to see exactly how to do it. So we can take out this, and let's just take off his bangs, see if they get in the way or not. I don't think they should. Faceplate coming off. And let's see. Yeah, so they do go right in there. I just don't think that maybe don't use this one at the same time. Okay, this way. But you can. It just takes a little bit of my favorite word, finagling, to get it in. But yeah, but basically you can either have just it all be his natural hair, or you can have these parts that are part of his costume. And yeah, so like with this part, you would just put this in here and align the holes correctly. And then you can have a Bakugo that is not fully costume ready. Put his face back in there, and his bangs. And yeah, there's Bakugo and just regular hair. But we're probably going to put him in some kind of action pose once we decide. So we're going to swap his hair back in there. But before we do that, we can take a look at his little grenade canyons that are quite loose in here. Just like Deku, he has the movable joints instead of separate pieces to make his arms or legs bent. So he is, as we were expecting, a much more like action figure style. But it feels good. It doesn't feel like these are too wobbly and will not hold their pose. They seem to hold pretty well. This one feels a little tighter to bend, but not too bad. His head feels a little loose, but that's just me. And these spin around quite easily, but they will hold their positions once you stop moving them. So yeah, that's not so bad. Definitely a lot easier to deal with than Marth. Has advance. They have advance in their joint making, I would say. And then these are his two faces. Let's see. I think it might be fun to put this face, but we'll maybe make him do a big explosion. Or maybe we can set him with this particular pose. Looks kind of funny. Or we could just make him like that. We shall see. But yeah, I'm assuming this little hand right here, because it is in white instead of green, is a little piece that you can put on your Deku Nendoroid, as mentioned in the little booklet. Let's see. So he has these little hands, which are just more open palm kind of hands. Yeah, it's the kind that he has right there, if it focuses correctly. So these are those two little hands, a left one and a right one. And then this one's the Deku hand. See that? And then this one looks like he has a little lighter to help him with the sparks right there. And then on these two hands, he has the beginning of his explosions. Plus a big explosion effect. And the boom, which you can put on a stand and have it hanging around him. Currently his little hands in there are fists. So yeah, and then I think in order to take these off, you can pop it off like that, and then it might take a little bit to get the hand and not send it flying, but you can easily take out the hand right there. You see the little hole for the hand, has a little hole right here that it goes through, and then it goes into his arm. And then I don't want to accidentally break it. I think let's take this one out too. Yeah, you can take those. I don't know if you can do it in both or just one, but you can take that out if you need to. Though I'm not really sure why you would need to. think this one comes out too. It just, there we go. Didn't want to accidentally break it, since as I have broken other things in the past. Let's not break anything live again. But yeah, there we go. And those are pretty much all his movable parts. Here you can twist his waist, you can move his knees. It doesn't seem like his feet themselves move too much. They move a little bit. They can jiggle. It's just not as movable as the other parts. And shoulders. And then elbows. Okay, so now let's decide. Let's see him on the back. What pose we should put him in. Kind of like just his standard pose. That looks not so bad. And doesn't look terribly difficult to put him in. It would be a good for like our ending spin at the end of this video. I'm kind of really digging this one. It just seems a little unhinged and kind of funny. We can have him about to attack, but I don't know. I feel like that might cover his face a little bit. I'm sorry if I bumped the mic right there. And then these seem like they would take a little bit more extra work than I want to do right now. So let's do the super unhinged victory kind of pose. So for that, I'm going to need to put his hair back to how it was before. So we take off the back piece. Get a good grip of it. And we'll take off this little side pieces. Put these in first. This says right to. This way. This is right. This is his left. So in case you missed that, right inside here it says L2. So that's for his left side. And the other one said R2. Which makes me wonder, do these ones say that too? Yeah, this one says R1. And then we've got his hair back in costume. So we take off his bangs so we can switch off his face plate. It's a little harder to do than the rest of his hair. There we go. Unhinged Bakugo face. We go there. Okay, now let's take a look at what hands he has. So it looks like he has the open palms hands, and they are looking up. So that will be these ones. Try to grab that little one in here. I don't have the best grip. There we go. Put his hands there. And his grenade canyons don't seem to have any letter in them, so I think these can go on either hand. They're not left or right specific. Let's grab these. And then has them open like that. Yeah, I did that right. Questioned myself for a second there. And then thumb goes out. And then we just hope we aim correctly. There he goes, his slightly unhinged pose where he looks like they should be as Pichu going ha 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 right there. But yeah, that is this Bakugo Katsuki Hero Edition Nendoroid, ready to pose and show off with your Deku one or any of the rest of the gang if you have more. He will not be my last My Hero Academia Nendoroid coming up, but we'll see when the other ones come out in the collection. Definitely, I believe I have maybe a couple of more Haikyuu ones coming along the way, but we'll see next week to see what it'll be Nendoroid number 24. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I hope you consider giving a like or subscribing. I post every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I guess Pacific Daylight Time right now. But anyway, every Friday at 11 a.m. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye!